Good morning, everyone. And we'll have our session on NABH. How can it be practically useful to you in your hospital? So today amongst faculty, we have Dr. Nirmal Frederick. He is one of the persons, he led the team which developed eye care standards. He's a very senior NABH assessor. He's very active in IMA and he has done multiple assessments and have done multiple training courses all across India, including the AIOS CME series on accreditation. So he's the best person to learn from. I think so. All of us have learned from him. Any questions you have, any difficulties, he's your man. Dr. Kumran is again practicing ophthalmologist from Chennai. His special interest in OT and infection control. He has been part of almost 100 plus courses on NABH and related topics. Dr. Samina is from Bangalore. She also has a passion for quality, has her own practice, and is an NABH assessor. She conducts regular meetings and regular training courses for all kind of NABH related activities, and again a very good teacher there. Dr. Shakeen from Amritsar is also a very senior NABH assessor and has a vast experience in assessing and is very much into teaching and training on NABH in northern part of India. I am Gagan. I practice in Narayana Netralaya. All of us are ophthalmologists, by the way. I forgot to add that. And NABH is our passion. Quality is our passion. We want things to be in a better way. That's why we are doing this course. I'm also an NABH assessor. And I have been part of this team doing this kind of training courses all across India for last 5 to 10 years, even abroad. So welcome to our course and we'll start. There might be a few questions you have. Please keep sending those questions. In the end, we'll take all of them together. So I'll start with the first talk, which is just to set the tone for the talks to come. So the first part is, how do you start? So when you talk about NABH, what will be your starting point is the first question everyone has and is what you probably want to ask us. So the first thing is you have to understand and prepare what you want. So you want to play a game, you need to have the rule book. You can't play cricket by rules of football. Similarly, you want to write a history exam, you read history book. You can't write a history exam by reading, let's say, geography book. So first you have to decide what NABH standards are suitable for you, because NABH has got various standards and all of them may not be applicable to you. So one sec, I'll just mute it. Okay, done. So a typical thing would be these two standards are there, and this is an example I often repeat. Two of ours, my juniors have a hospital about a kilometer apart in the same geographical area in a city, and both of them were going in for NABH and had their assessment together. So one guy went in for an eye care standard, which is onto your left. The other guy took an entry-level standard, which is onto your right. Now, once their assessment was done, which again, if you have to believe, was about a week apart or 10 days apart, both of them were together and they were discussing, and then they called me. They said, yeah, see, I had this thing, he had this thing, he got an NC, I did not get an NC. He got NC for this, like why there is so much variation? They called me, and then by the time it happened, I realized that, the standards will have something different. Eye care has something extra which entry level does not have. So if you're going in for a higher standard, you need to comply to that standard. So they were having a same hospital, similar thing, but applying two different standards. The typical story of that elephant, that someone finds it's a rope, someone finds it's a snake. So whenever you are going to start an ABH, you have to understand which of these standards is applicable to you. You want to go in for an eye care standard or you want to go in for an entry level standard. And now you also have the 5th edition of NABH, which has come in. So how do you get this standard? I'll show you live here. So you go and open NABH website. Is it visible to you?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So you go and open NABH website, which is in front of your screen now. Okay, so here if you are going to go, there's this link, NABH standard. Once you go onto this link, all these standards are now freely available to download. Earlier it was not. So you can download all these standards. You can't print them, they are locked. If you want a printed copy, you can pay NABH board and it will come. But you get the flavor of it or just to refer it, you can download all these standards free of cost. And while you are on NABH website, I'll also show something and then we'll go back. Here you can see this entry-level certification, HOPE, login. So the process of application is also online, which will happen from here. And there are other information also which you can go down. So these will be the login. You are going to use an SCO login and all the important announcements and all will come here. you are going to ask what is the fee structure is also mentioned here. So this is the fee structure for eye care. How much?
Gagan, sorry to interrupt. We are not able to see the screen, sir.
Okay.
It is in the Wait for NABH website that it is visible right now in front of us.
Okay, 1 second. Is it okay now?
Yes, it's come.
Absolutely okay, sir.
Okay, so I'll just repeat, sorry for that. Now, if you see there is this Ayush level certification, entry level certification, no, these are the login links on the top. And here there is a link for NABS standard. Here, if you see, all the standards are available for free download. Okay, you can download it from here. And then when you come to the home page, interestingly, you will find all these links below. And these quick links are one which I'm talking about, like fee structure. This is the fee structure, which is going to be a question. So I'm preempting that. How much do you pay is all mentioned here. And then, how do, important links, archives, everything is here, notifications, and you will also find the OT guidelines here and clarification on, 5th edition FHIR. So all this information is on website. So many of the things is, the model here is that, you need to check the website for the relevant standard section so that you are well prepared and you know where you are. So don't need to do things which don't suit you. All NABS standards, if you see, will have 10 chapters. And they will have different standards and objective element. To give you a comparison, eye care standards has got 10 chapters, 66 standards, and 305 objective elements with 305 kind of checkpoints for assessors and for you. And SSCO has got 149. So there are lesser number of checkpoints for SSCO standard in entry level. So these are the chapters. The next thing what you need to understand is these abbreviations. AAC. AAC is nothing but access, assessment, continuity of care, first chapter. MOM, management of medications, like third chapter. So it's like our ODOS, patients don't understand when we say lateral, dextro, or whatever. So these are the things. So you have to understand the terminology. So all the time in trainings and all, you'll hear this. AAC, CQI. So AAC means chapter 1. AAC 1 means chapter 1, standard 1. Like this. So you write AAC 1, AAC 2, AAC 3, AAC 4. These are the standards in that AAC chapter, which is first chapter. And if you see here, each standard has got objective elements, which are A, B, C, D. So if you say AAC 1D, it refers to chapter AAC first standard D element, right? Now, once you have the book and you are going to have this, actually it's a good cure for insomnia. You can read 2-3 pages and you'll really fall asleep. It's a very dry book because it doesn't make sense. It talks in kind of a semi-legal language. So just to take this example, what it says is these objective elements. Now, for you to have to understand what is the intent and how it applies to you. So this element will be different. This implementation will be different in your hospital versus the other hospital. So first question now, if we say the eye care services are being provided are clearly defined. So eye care services mean what you provide, retina, glaucoma, cataract, whatever. Have you defined what services you provide? If you have not defined, you have to define. There's a gap there that, okay, you need to define. Then each service, I'll just come to see, if you see, it says prominently displayed. Have you displayed your scope of service? If you have not displayed, then you need to, make a display and put. The further to this is the display has to be bilingual at least. So, wherever you are English, Hindi, English, Kannada, English, Tamil, you'll have to have a bilingual display. The staff are oriented to the service. So the staff working in hospital should know what services we offer. So how do you tell the staff? You tell them by training. So actually speaking, the objective D means you train your staff, let them know what it is, but the language is the staff is oriented to the service. How you orient is left up to you. That's the reason that it gives hospital a free hand to do the part which takes to comply to this thing. So this is where you have to understand what you need to do in your organization for a particular element or particular standard. And whatever I told you now, you will ask me, where is it written? Where is it written bilingual and all? So for that, you need to refer to the guidebook. You need to refer to the guidebook of eye care standard. You need to refer to 4th edition guidebook or 5th edition guidebook. You can use this AIU CME series, and there are multiple other resources and publications in various journals. So you get those, but again, a simple thing, when we study, we always ask our seniors. Similarly, if you really want an easy journey, you may like to ask your friends, colleagues, senior who have actually done NDBH. They may be able to even refer you more, and more so for the local thing, because many things are very localized, which we may not be aware. So Gujarat is something which I'm not sure. So people who are in your city, who are in your place, will be able to definitely help. IMA also is really active in this and keeps conducting many things. So those kind of information is there. Your preparation has to be done before you actually start. So give it us some time, get everything understood, and then go further. And in addition to this, you also have multiple training activities which keep happening, paid or free. There's no harm in attending those training activities. In fact, more people from your organization, if they attend those training activities, it's good. So this is how the guidebook states. So the same thing which I showed you now has some kind of an explanation given to it, which is what I am trying to talk about. So this is a kind of a same standard. If you see, this is a scope of service of a eye hospital. So this is how you make a scope of service. This is documented and this is what we display, and obviously make it into a bilingual. Now another example, like MOM. When we say MOM 1C, the eye care organization has a list of medications appropriate for patients and organization. What is a list? What is it? It is nothing but a formulary. You Google a formulary, you'll understand what is a formulary. But formulary is nothing but a list of medications, what you have, along with the name, dosage, route of administration, all those things. Now, other things are like you have this kind of jargon being thrown when you are going for an NABH. LASA drug. What is LASA drug? I didn't know any LASA drug before I actually heard about NABH. LASA is nothing but an acronym for look-alike, sound-alike medications. So Tropicacil plus Tropicacil, they are sound alike. You take two medications from same company, the packing remains same, they become kind of look alike. So the thing is that these drugs can be mistaken. And I'm very sure that all of us would have had an experience when Tropicacil plus or Tropicacil have been, mixed in OPD. So instead of putting in plain Tropicamide in a hypertensive patient, cardiac patient, the staff would have instilled Tropicacil plus. A mistake like this is very common even in a medical college. So to prevent those mistakes, you need to have look-alike, sound-alike drugs separately so that things are not there. So this is a kind of an interpretation for the standard what was there. So if you look at the language of the standard and what it actually means, it's things. So once things get translated into plain simple English, it is easy. So this is where the job is. Once you reach to this standard, you'll find NABH is not a burden. It's not so cumbersome. So this is our list. What we have is a list of look-alike drugs in our hospital. So this yellow color labels will be there, means it's a look-alike. Be careful before you use. Similarly, sound-alike drugs, there will be a green color on that. So you can see Ciplox, Ciplox D, all these Alpha-Gen Z, Alpha-Gen P, these kind of drugs where the manufacturers just add Dorzox, Dorzox T. So in fact, I feel that, the companies should stop doing this where we have lots of look-alike and sound-alike, but probably their commercial interests are much more than the safety here. So if you need answers, it's not only that you need to look it in a general hospital or in an eye hospital. Even a general hospital will have all the standards. Standard remain the same. You can talk to general hospital also. In fact, in certain areas, like when you're talking about math and you're talking about emergencies, it may be better. So OT guidelines, NABH has given OT guidelines. You need to go there, download that, and that's a gospel. Fire norms also is a confusing thing. I showed you the website. NABH advisory is there, very clearly written, and it shows that what is to be done in case there is an NOC or there is not an NOC. Some other thing is KPI. It will be discussed further down also. But KPI is nothing but key performance indicator. Fancy name, used all the time in industry and everything. What is key performance indicator? Any indicator which is key to the performance. So for airline, the example I take, let's say on-time performance. So 99% on the the flights are on time. That's a key performance indicator. For a broadband connection, it says this much speed. That's a key performance indicator. For ophthalmology, you say endophthalmitis, so rate of infection for number of surgeries. That's a kind of a key performance indicator for that particular surgery. So you could have n numbers of key performance indicator. NABH has given all these indicators in the book, and that you have to follow. You can always have more of yours. And there's a separate chapter on this in the AIS CME, which is very well written. There are certain mandatory trainings which are required for this. Fire, code blue, and safety training, occupational patient right training. These trainings have to be arranged. And then once you have done this, you also go back, and if you see, this is the link which you'll get for eye care organization. So there are all this brochure information which are pertaining to your standard and your particular application. And similarly, this will be for small healthcare organization. And once you do there, once you're ready, you have to apply online with all the documents, legal things, and also a self-assessment toolkit. One important thing is which will be covered. I'm just taking the names here, something called gap analysis. I told you before that you need to have a documented and displayed scope of services. If you don't have, that's a gap. So you find that things which are missing in your hospital, they will be there, or the format is something different, or things have not been documented. So you have to believe one thing, that if your hospital is working, it's doing fine, there are no major issues, means your hospital is doing well in medical practice. There are certain gaps in the way we document things. There are certain gaps the way we have things. So things need to be streamlined a little bit. That's all. So we'll have those gaps where things need to be streamlined in a little better way, and we can bridge those gaps. Once those gaps are bridged and you're ready with other things, you can go ahead and apply. Important thing is statutory and legal requirements. Sometimes hospitals do get stuck with this, especially the old hospital. You may like to start there. Make sure that legally you are, all the legal requirements as given in NABH are there. And if it is there, you can start doing other things. It should not happen that everything is done and in the end you get stuck with legal, because that has happened in case of many hospitals. and can't emphasize the training. Training is very important. The very fact that you are attending this course is a kind of training. So once you have done, then trainings are required. This I'll skip because it will be there. This is the last thing. You have to fill application form, upload the data, and go ahead with it and go with assessment. Some of the things will be also covered by Dr. Nirmal in his talk, so there might be a bit of overlap. Sorry for that.